Imagine a profile card that moves with your cursor, giving a stunning 3D illusion, just like the ones you see in high-end portfolio websites. In today's video, we're going to build that exact effect from scratch using pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let's start with the HTML. Inside our body tag, we have a div with the class container. This is our main wrapper that centers everything on the page. Inside it, we've placed a div with the class and the ID profile card. This is the main 3D card that we'll be rotating later. Within the profile card, we have another section called background items, containing a circle and a strip that enhance the background depth. Next, we've got the profile info section. Inside it, there's a profile image div holding the actual image, and a profile details div that includes the name, title, and project stats. We use semantic tags like h3 for the name and p for the title to keep the structure accessible and meaningful. Let's move on to the styling part of our profile card. Our container class adds the perspective property with a value of 1200 px. This is what allows child elements to appear 3D when rotated. The width is set to the smaller of 400 pixels or 92% of the viewport. We set a height of 520 pixels and a linear gradient background to give it a subtle glossy look. The border radius of 20 pixels softens the corners, and we add padding to create space inside. The profile image is styled to have a fixed width and height. The transform style preserve 3D ensures that all 3D child elements maintain their depth when rotated. We add a smooth transition for both transform and box shadow, so movements look natural when the card tilts or resets. Then we apply a double layer box shadow, one external soft shadow to make the card float, and one inner shadow using inset for a subtle depth. The profile card after pseudo-element overlays a faint diagonal light reflection using a gradient and mix blend mode overlay. It enhances realism by making the card catch imaginary light. Then we have background items class. This holds our decorative elements, and we disable pointer events so they don't interfere with hover or click actions. The circle item class creates a glowing circle at the top right using a gradient of purple fading to transparent. While strip item class adds a rotated rectangular strip at the bottom left, slightly transparent, to balance the composition visually. The profile info class uses flexbox to align the profile picture and text horizontally, with a gap of 20 pixels. The profile image is styled to have a fixed width and height, rounded corners, and a soft gradient background that matches our accent colors. We also add transform, translate Z, 60px, and rotate Z, -6 degrees. This moves the image slightly forward in 3D space and gives it a tilted effect even before interaction. Box shadows below it enhance the floating look. The 4-pixel border with transparent white adds shine, and we use display flex to center the image inside the div. Then Profile Details also uses Translate Z, 45px, to move it slightly forward, giving it some depth apart from the background. The name class styles the person's name with a font size of 22 pixels and medium weight. The title below it is lighter in color using the muted tone. For the stats section, we use flex again to place the stat boxes side by side, separated by a 12-pixel gap. Each stat span box has a frosted glass background using our glass variable, padding for space, rounded edges, and a thin translucent border. Inside, the strong tag displays bold white numbers with a slightly larger font size, making the stats stand out clearly. Below that, we have a short about paragraph describing the person, 2 stylish buttons for message and portfolio. And finally a set of social media icons for GitHub, LinkedIn, and Instagram. At the bottom, we include a small footer line available for freelance and based in India. This HTML layout gives us all the building blocks we'll bring to life using CSS and JavaScript. It uses the muted text color and a line height of 1.5 for readability. The About paragraph is moved slightly forward with Translate Z, 30px, to make it pop subtly above the card background. Next, the buttons container holds our 2 action buttons side by side with a 12-pixel gap. The BTN base class defines shared styles like padding, rounded corners, no borders, and smooth transitions for hover effects. The primary BTN uses a bright gradient background combining our accent colors, white text, and a glowing shadow underneath. On hover, we add a tiny upward translation for interactivity. The secondary BTN uses a transparent glass-style background and a thin border. Its hover state slightly brightens the background for a polished look. At the bottom right, the social section holds our social media icons. It's absolutely positioned so it stays pinned to the corner, and Translate Z, 20px, again keeps it slightly raised for depth. Each social's icon has a muted color, cursor pointer, and a subtle hover effect. It scales up and changes to a bright cyan when hovered, making it feel interactive and modern. Finally, the footer text at the bottom left is styled with a small font size and the muted tone, giving that clean, professional closing line. At the very end, Profile Card Idle class defines what happens when the user's mouse leaves the card. We use a smooth cubic Bezier curve for the transition. This makes the card gently return to its original flat position, instead of snapping instantly. It gives the whole experience a fluid, realistic feel. Alright, now for the fun part, the JavaScript. We start with an immediately invoked function expression, which runs as soon as the file loads. Inside, we grab our elements using getElementById, the card, its container, and the profile image. We define 2 constants, max_rotate and max_move, which control how much the card tilts and how far the image pops out. Inside the handleMove function, we calculate the cursor's position relative to the card using getBoundingClientRect.
Never mind, I forgot where I came from. Like wolves in the dark. We've adapted to blindness. Fall asleep with the sirens out. There's blood on our hands. Somebody save me from myself. I'm off of the meds and it might get hideous. Why so?
Then find how far it is from the center to get smooth offset ratios. These offsets determine the rotation angles for both X and Y, giving that realistic tilt effect.
Run for your life, 'cause it might get hideous. Why so serious?
We apply these values to the card's CSS transform and remove its idle class so the animation reacts instantly. This gives that smooth, real-time 3D tilt effect as you move your mouse. We also move the profile image slightly forward using Translate Z, and add a soft box shadow that changes dynamically based on cursor position, creating a realistic light response.
Ain't got no place to call my own. Feels like I'm better off alone. So sad inside and hopeless. These Hollywood hoes never notice. Can't get back up. I miss you.
Then, the handle leave function resets everything, rotating back to neutral, restoring the box shadow, and returning the image to its default depth. The handle leave function resets everything, rotation, shadow, and transforms whenever the mouse leaves, ensuring a smooth return.
That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious.
Finally, we attach event listeners for both mouse and touch events, making it responsive across devices.
That's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow.
And that's how you create a 3D interactive profile card using pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow designers, and subscribe to the channel for more web design projects like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next creative build.